Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome to another Queens of Chess series video. Today we are going to analyze a game between Lucy Wanjiru and Ndirangu Joyce Nyaruai. Now in this game, we are going to see a lot of good moves, good fight on the board, but the end will be a little bit disappointing, but nevertheless these ladies played some good chess. So this game was played during the second round of the Kenya National Chess Championship 2024, and the game was epic, but unfortunately it ended in a draw. And the reason why I chose this game is sometimes you can miss a very crucial move. It was just a simple king move that made this game to end up in a draw. So let's dive into the game. So the game begins with e4 by white, and then c6 entering into the Caro-Kann defense. Then d4 was played by white, then d5, and then we enter into the advanced variation of the Caro-Kann. Now this is a very common chess opening. Most people like it. It's diverse, it's rich in tactics, and it's rich in positional play. Bishop to f5 by black, and then bishop to e2, preparing, kind of creating room to castle. She didn't want to exchange the bishop, and as you can see, the bishop didn't have so much squares to go to, so bishop e2 was kind of the best move to play in this position. So e6 by black, and then knight to f3, preparing to castle, and then h6. Now this move h6 was not really the best move in this position. Black would have gone ahead and tried to kind of develop some pieces, trying to create some room to castle early, but instead she kind of didn't like the idea of the bishop going to g5, so she prepared, like in advance she pushed the pawn to prevent that kind of move, because it will have forced her either to move the queen or to go for an exchange. But h3 nevertheless was played, and then knight b to d2 by white, and then knight to d7, kind of getting the pieces around, c3 by white, and then queen to c7, castles by white, and then now g5. As you can see, it looks like white is preparing to castle on the queen side, because first of all, as you can see, she's moving her pawns forward very much, kind of breaking opening principles. Once I saw this, I knew that straight away she was going to castle queen side, because these pawns, they are from this diagonal and they were not pushed forward, and she kind of saw that if she castles queen side, she will have good attacking advantage. But nevertheless, she continued with the attack, playing g5, kind of trying to push this pawn forward later. So during the game, rook to e1 was played by white, and then knight to e7, knight to f1 by white, kind of trying to bring the knight here, having some plans like that, like infiltrating into the white's king, pushing this pawn forward later, and things like that. So knight f1 was played, then bishop went back. She kind of anticipated that this knight will come here and then it will knock off the bishop, so she didn't want the exchange of the bishop, so she decided to drop the bishop back. And then bishop to d3 was played by white, kind of trying to get rid of the bishop, and then bishop to g7 played by black, trying to see where she will castle. So at this particular point, she can castle any side, and things are not very bad for her. I think the position is a little bit on the edge, but it's manageable. So position wise, she's kind of in a bad position. Her pieces don't occupy so much space. This bishop is really out of place. These knights are really clamped up, not so much to work with. So knight to g3 played by white, and then pawn push to s6. Then here white continues by pushing the pawn forward to f4, kind of preventing or trying to see if she can hold the position down, trying to prevent furthermore pawn pushes from black. So black continues, she plays pawn to c5, and then bishop to e3, finishing up her development. Then here pawn to b6. Now black is trying to create some space by pushing the pawns, trying to exchange. One rule of such position is that whenever you are kind of black in this kind of position, is best to trade off pieces, kind of to create room for your other pieces, whether trade off or push the pawn forward, so that to prevent further clamping down of the position. So h3 was played by white, and then c4 attacking the bishop, and the bishop fell back to c2, and then knight to f8 was played by black. Knight to h2, kind of trying to maneuver the knight, trying to create possible attacking chances, because she saws things like this, and then this might come in handy later. So knight to h2 was played by white. So kind of trying to maneuver the pieces. The same with black, knight to h7, and then finally the pawn push to f4. Now pawn takes, bishop takes, and then bishop takes, queen takes. Now up to this position, things are pretty not looking up for black. As you can see, black's king side is kind of scattered, is kind of in shambles. She has a very bad bishop. This queen is in a good square. It can easily have access to this diagonal in case white decide to castle in this king side. So, and then also this possibility of this rook coming up, doubling up. So black is not in so much good position or good play. Also there's possibility of this knight coming here, and the fact that black's king side is in not so much, it's kind of stripped bare. It's not good in this kind of setup to castle king side. But during the game, black made a mistake and she castled queen side. Now up to this position, I can say she was trying to hold up, but castling in this kind of setup with their king having not so much good defenses, it's kind of a very bad setup for black. White pieces are very much active compared to black's pieces. Not so good. Things are not good for black up to this position. But castling kingside in this kind of setup with this kind of all of these white pieces eyeing up on your king side, not so good. But nevertheless, she decided to castle king side during the game, and the game continued. Now the white decided to come up with her guns blazing. Knight to h4, trying to infiltrate, but a simple exchange. She didn't have any other best way to defend this pawn, but she could have gone down either way. This pawn was weak. Even if she decided to go with the move of bringing the knight to g5 after this exchange, this pawn will still fall, because after takes, then she was a pawn down and now an exchange down. Now up to this position, things are really not looking up for black. Black is in a bad place. Black is in so much, things are falling apart for black. But black kind of find the best moves to survive in this position, and she was able to secure a draw due to some blunders by white, and she missed some moves and she was able to secure a draw. Now the game continues. The best move, rook to f1, and then black trying to play some counter moves. Rook to f2, kind of doubling up the rook, and then knight to g5. Up to this position, I can see that here white kind of made a series of blunders, because she played this move king to h2. Now this move king to h2 is not losing right away. I think she feared things like this infiltration of the knight taking up, knocking the pawn on h3, and then that will be given a fork, given that the king will be pinned. So she knew that will happen, and that's why she decided to slide the rook, slide the king to h2. And then here black played the move knight to f6. Now this knight move was very important for black, because first of all it entered into an outpost whereby it will not be easily attacked, and it played some very crucial role that we are going to see later during the game. So the game continues. Since the rook was under attack, rook to f4 was necessary, and then here knight to f5. So in this position, she took the knight on f5, whereas the best move was actually to get rid of this knight. And you might ask, between these two knights, which one was the best to get rid of now? But the reason why this knight was so important, it was because of the f2 square. Because this f2 square was, or rather it's a very key square, because it's an escape square route for the king in case things starts falling apart. So she missed that during the game, and she went for the long capture. She picked this knight, and after takes, now the queen infiltrated. Now the queen being here, there's a possibility of these checks, and also there's a possibility of picking up this rook, this knight, and in fact that is what she saw immediately, and she went for this move, king to g1. Now this move is whereby it enabled white to secure a draw. It seems like a necessary move, but it was a drawish move. If I can just turn my engine on, you can see from the evaluation bar, white has so much advantage, and things are not so bad for her. Even after the move queen to h4, the best move in this position was to bring the queen to d1 and kind of protect the sacrifice by moving the queen to d1, and also preventing kind of infiltration of the queen to the first rank. And that was the best move in this position. It is not so easy to find move, but that was the best move. As we will see, immediately she made this queen move, she lost all her advantage, and the game came to equal, and that enabled black to be able to have a reason to give perpetuals and secure a draw. And that's why this the prior move, this move queen to d1, was the most accurate move in this position. But she missed it, and she went ahead and played king to g1. So despite that, rook takes g4 was played, and then after pawn takes, now the perpetuals came into play. She tried to defend, but check, then check, and they agreed to a draw. That's how the game ended in a draw. It's very important to see the importance of this sacrifice in this position. This game will have survived if, or rather, white will have still managed to win this game or continue having her advantage if she will have gone ahead and picked the the knight on e4, but instead she missed it, and black was able to kind of find a way to draw the game. On my opinion, I can say that she miscalculated on the best way, or rather she did, when she was doing her calculations, she didn't take into consideration the possibility of the perpetuals, and also the escapes, the f2 escape square, and also this exchange that was going, black was going to have, because it was so much to calculate. Maybe during this time she was having time troubles and she missed it, but in this position the best move was actually to pick the knight on e4, and that could have made her gain all the advantages, to pick the knight and then later infiltrate with her knight on f6, and that will be winning for her. Even though it won't be a quick win, but the endgame will have been easy to simplify, because in this kind of position the best way to win is to just exchange material and simplify as much as possible. But you must be keen and know which material you must go for. If you go for the wrong material, you can lose the game, or your opponent can be able to get an advantage of the position and be able to secure a draw. It was not so easy move to find, so she missed those two moves, and those were critical. First of all, picking the knight on e4, and then in this position she missed the crucial move, queen to d1. As you can see, she still has the advantage despite having not picked the right knight during the exchange. But the most crucial move during this game was finding this move, queen to d1, because once she missed it, she entered into a draw right away, and black was able to find it. So that's how the game went, and that's how black was able to secure a draw against white. So good game from both players. From Lucy, she was lower rated, she was able to find a crucial move. She made some few mistakes during the game, but she played pretty well towards the end, and she was able to maximize her positional advantage, and was able to secure a draw during the game. So also good game from Joyce, despite finding the not so best move, she played pretty well, and she's a good player nevertheless. I usually like her games, so good game. So thanks for watching. See you in my next game analysis. So if you like this series, give me a comment, give a shout out. If you want me to analyze some more other games that you think are worth analyzing, hit me up, and see you in my next analysis video. Bye bye.